Yes, podcast. Today we have Haniff. Haniff is one of our very old friends as well. And he's now in HR, right?
Doing human resource.
Nice. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
Well, I think just to make it, to sum it up, what I'm doing here is two things: to ensure performance of the organization and conformance.
Performance and conformance.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe you can just explain a little bit more, because I'm actually a layman, I'm not someone in HR, or maybe the HR will want to know more about me. So I'm not sure what is the one that you're talking about. I'm not in HR anyway.
I think for every entity, for every company down there, the one that make it was humans, the people. So other than machines, you have the people. So in order to, what we do in human resource is to make sure these people performs in your work.
Okay.
So when they perform, they make the board happier, they make the management happier, the board happier, and make the shareholder happier. So that is our role for human resource.
Okay.
And the other one is the not so sexy, is the conformance. Here comes the law, the local legislation in Singapore. So when a lot of investors coming over to Singapore, or even when people want to start in Singapore, the first thing is, I'm passionate to do my work. I want to do this. I want to make some money. But within the legal boundaries, what the legal boundaries? This is where we also have human resource. We advise them. This is the Act legal boundaries, the Company Act legal boundaries, CPF Act, etc.
I see.
Yeah. So on these two areas.
Oh, okay. So do you interview people? Do you actually also sit down to interview newcomers, or are you also doing that as well?
In the past, we do that a lot.
Oh, you do that a lot?
So in human resource, in the past, 10 years ago, okay, more than that, we need to do end-to-end, from recruitment of the employees down to onboarding, to make sure when the person join the organization, then the environment, the culture is to facilitate the performance.
Okay.
So I think one thing about culture management, then make sure they're having the input, and along the way, make sure the person stay motivated.
Wow, how to make the person stay motivated, sir?
So interestingly, I'm involved in commercial and not for profit. So both have different approach on that.
Of course.
For commercial, the bosses will be slightly, or the management will be slightly different. Bringing the best person to bring the money in the fastest point of time.
Yes,
the fastest way.
Okay.
But not necessarily the right way.
Correct. Okay. Wow.
So this is where we have to manage the expectation for both on that. For the not-for-profit, it's slightly different. Not-for-profit, I want to find someone who are passionate to make the change.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But you also need people who are passionate to actually help you to do sales also, right?
Correct. I truly agree with you that, Yuki.
Yeah.
So, if I were to talk to my friends who are HR professionals, some of them will look at the job description.
Yeah.
Tick, you make the technical fit, you are for the job. But when it comes to my recruitment, it's slightly different. We have two sheets. One is on your personal values. If you met one of our personal values or core values of an entity, you are in, 1 foot in. Whether you have the technical expertise or not, we can pick them up. Because your ethics is more important.
Exactly.
So the part that we cover is when doing interviews slightly different. Our interviews have never been office.
Cool.
Yeah.
So where do we go to?
We went to Coffee Bean, we go to Starbucks, we had help in, so if the person is, for example, in the line of business development, we bring them to a noisy place, in the hawker center, in McDonald's. See how the person behave in the environment where there's a lot of distraction, but how do you close me?
Oh, interesting. That is very interesting, because maybe the listeners out there will want to know a little bit of tips and some ideas of how interviewer will want to approach them and how they can actually try to make it happen, if they want the job so badly. So one of the things that you do is to interview not in the office.
Correct.
So outside the office. So do you actually tell the interviewee like we are going to do outside the office, or you actually just do it outside the office?
No, I just tell them we're going to have some coffee chat. Meet me at this place.
So that is the beginning. The beginning, so that you can assess this person, whether this person fit or not fit for this company, etc. And then you give the so-called summary to the company. Tell them, say, okay, these are the few person that we deem that this is their fit to go for this particular role.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So for example, one part of it is if the company values on corporate responsibility, and empathy, and we have that. So when we have this, because we have two interview sets of questions.
Yes, correct.
Technical or technical. So the technical ones, of course, the hiring manager will ask all these technical questions, then we facilitate that. But the non-technical participant, we observe the behavior of the person. When a person goes for an interview in an office, he or she is prepared. So and get up. There's some mental topic going. Okay, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be excellent in my work. But
very
proper. But the reason why you bring them outside to these areas, one, I want it to be as comfortable as possible to be themselves. That's number one. And number two, we purposely, for example, in McDonald's, even in Coffee Bean, we purposely didn't clear the table. If you have a humility or if you have a team player, we purposely don't clear the table, just sit down there. You need to see and observe. Some candidates, excuse me, can you help to clear the table? Oh, alright. No, what kind of person it is? No, down the check please. If the person says, oh, come, let me help, they cannot say, it speaks about you wanting to help to make things happen. So in terms of sales, there's a post-sales follow-up, you want to observe that.
So that's me there. Because the thing is, because the thing is, I want to make things happen, so I'll just do it myself instead of waiting for people to do for me. Because if you're going to wait for that, if the helper or the cleaner is so busy to do so many things, and I don't want to waste time, I will definitely do it myself and then clean it up. And then after eating, right, or what, I will just clean it up myself. Because what I feel is monkey see, monkey do. People actually kind of like, it's an example to let people to follow. So hopefully that when I do this, some people saw it and they do follow as well. Because obviously you want the next person to come in free like you. I can sit down with no rubbish or no litter, no leaving bag. Then I can actually help the person to be comfortable as well. And I try to make myself feel that it could happen to me next time, that I can have a clean table. So it's like a try to see whether monkey see, monkey do, and hope this thing will be happening also more in the future. That I do not know lah. For me, I have this kind of feeling lah. That is why.
This is a very important feeling. I think one thing when you want to enter the workforce, always check what's your personal values first. When you apply for a job, look at the company core values. If one of your core values is similar, like in the company, I would say that it will be very smooth transition. We have candidates who are very smart, who ace in the exams, but their core values is very different from our team.
Do you feel that core value is more towards like EQ? If you are talking about that?
So core values is two components. Could be on the technical core values, also can be on the personal core values of the EQ and other areas.
Okay.
So the reason is when you enter the organization, the company culture molds you to become who you are. So is this company is more empathetic, more corporate society, or even more business excellence. So you need to have that one of the attributes in order. Then let the environment, the learning and development mold you to become the expert and master in that area.
Okay. So what are the actually challenges that you find during this in this work environment, like you being an HR, right? What are the challenges for the past 10 years? You said that you actually did interview people 10 years ago. So do you still interview people now, or it's just 10 years ago?
Now it's good. Still doing interview, but on a second level. But the challenges I see is technology is a wonderful thing. So there's a thing called AI, artificial intelligence. So there's machine learning. So in HR, I think when you go to HR, one thing you need to understand here is you are trying to upgrade the people in the organization. So similarly in our functions, we need to upgrade ourselves. So we have tried before adopted the AI into the job learning, into application. So what the AI is, this is called this word called words density. But if I'm looking at a person who is sales expert, sales, if there is more sales expert in the resume, the machine, the AI itself, scientifically will pull, you have 80% likely to be compatible to work. Now, this is the machine. So I think for the future of and that part, that is not a challenge. I would say it helps you to swim, but not necessarily that is the best way to do it.
Yeah, of course.
But if you have 1,000 resumes, That's the best way to clear at least 900 and look at the hundreds.
Okay.
So when we are doing that, in the past we look one by one. We have the patience. Of course, you need to have coffee.
True.
After you get the 30 resume, maybe like machine and AI themselves.
True.
So when we looking at these resumes, interestingly, because what we're looking out for, there's a word necessity is very important is for HR. This is why we see repeating words. But AI has helped us to narrow down it. But we need to have that human and machine integration. So yes, we still use AI to do that, to narrow down the resumes. But at the same time, the human integration becomes in, where we need to analyze. And the question comes for the human part is this the right decision?
Correct.
But machine just say, probability, this is hard.
Okay.
So in human resource, I would say in near future, in 5 years, depending there's a low to mid-tech, mid-tech to high-tech. For those from low to mid-tech, there is integration where human resource executive, human resource system manager will no longer exist. Because a lot of this is done by robotics.
So during this robotic experience, do you think that it actually really helps you?
How it helps the company is profitability. That's one.
That means you less one person to do, so you kind of like less.
Focus more on the strategic or the important ones. Because when a company grows from small to medium to MNC, your workflow is defined. So we identify some of the workflows that is similar or transactional. Means year on year it will be the same. Month on month they will be the same. Use this for robotics. For example, I gave you one in the payroll processing. In the past, you need to buy a payroll system, then you need to key in the numbers, etc. Then you generate it within that a day. With robotics, 3 seconds.
Wow. That's actually save a lot of time.
Save a lot of time.
Yeah. 3 seconds versus but the chances of having error is there as well. Because you see, you still need the person to actually go through in a sense that whether is there an error. Do you really need that?
So we still need a review process, but compare the time taken for reviewer and the time taken for preparer is much lesser for the reviewer.
So what is your, looking down, the road lah. So do you think that there will be less people hiring for all this kind of job, or do you think that it will be taken over by robotic? Or IT?
Okay, the pace of being taken over by robotic is that it's realistic, it's going to happen, and we need to accept that. It's just that how do we have that human and machine integration?
Hi, I'm Yuki.
Yuki will tell me, Haniff, this is the best candidate, this is the candidate. Or even the machine learning, we have to stop machine learning. The rate of you applying for your sick leave is indication of that you're going to resign. This is also done by machine learning.
Seriously?
In the past, because they think we have data. Yuki has never applied for sick leave. Suddenly, past 3 months, she becomes sick. There's 2 probabilities. She's really not doing very well, or something wrong is at home, or something is wrong with her that, or she becomes unmotivated all the time. So the machine learning will say, Haniff, Yuki
red flag.
Red flag because the number of sick days is getting more. She applying time off. All these trends.
Okay.
But when it comes to the human part, we will interpret the data. Okay, just the trend for it. But what happens?
So you actually put more attention to the person itself.
So with technology, what we have done here is all those time to do transactional work has been done by machine, which is good. Then we don't have. The thing is, also, in terms of HR, it's good in a way because when people are doing the same thing over and over again,
it's become monotonous and bored.
Unless you're the type that there are some people that I love doing my job, A to Z the same thing.
Passion.
Not really passion. What I would say is stability.
True.
The one that passion is okay. I'm done with this. What's next? So with this machine, we are able to focus on more strategy. When you do more focus on strategy, it becomes make more sense to management, make more sense to the board, make more sense to the shareholder. It makes sense to the stakeholder because why you're being personalized. That's why there's a lot of design thinking coming in, user UI, user interface, user experience coming in. So it's all about the user now. So I did have a discussion with my friends from HR in NSC. They say that, Haniff, why does your entity take a system end-to-end enterprise system that handles job portal, handles performance management system, handles learning
Everything.
system, everything. What's the? That's it. If you want to ask me that question 5 years ago, I totally agree with you.
Okay.
Lately we have a lot of apps coming up, and the apps is trying to. Okay, this app has been created to help humans, help people to become more productive, to help people to become more efficient.
Okay.
So when it comes to the HR system, when it comes to the job portal, we have a job portal specialist out there.
Okay.
That's one part.
Okay.
But of course, the moving, depending on the volume of moving the data, that depends the integration at the back end. But when it comes to performance system, there are many applications like Monday.com, for example, like KPI soft. All this, we are tracking real-time data and giving the inputs to the reporting officer. For example, Yuki, today your KPI is 10%. Tomorrow your KPI is 30%. What happened? On real time?
Really?
Yes.
That's stress that.
I mean, stress for the employee. Is it good for the company?
Yeah, I think it's good for a company in the sense that they can keep track.
Yes. Versus a person who needs to, a manager can ask him, Yuki, can I have 5 minutes of time? You know him. When every boss has talked to you, it's never 5 minutes.
Yeah, actually I just talked to my boss 1 hour already.
So when we have that 5 minutes, but how much of the half an hour or 5 minutes, they get the output or the status update to the KPI, the reports, the status. Then after that, the boss will still need to translate into Excel sheet. Then it goes to the master sheet. You reduce all this process, having that. So when all these apps are coming out, this is called the HR microservices coming up. They are developing it.
Oh, okay.
And what happens? The enterprise system, it breaks down the reason why to have an enterprise system. The reason why the enterprise system makes sense.
It's all linked, kind of.
Yes, all linked. But what make it different is we call it the interfacing at the back end. Between system A to system B, system D. But the microservices they able to do that. Interlink at the back end.
Interesting.
So we have a HR system where we apply e-leave over the handphone. But now we have Microsoft Teams. I think we are quite familiar with it.
Yeah, Teams is like kind of like amazing tools because it links everything like to my work in the sense that if I actually block the particular day in a particular hours, it's also kind of blocked in that team system which they will reflect red color. That means you are not available.
Correct.
So initially I didn't know that. I realized that until later part I realized that it actually all sync. Yeah, and even all the chats and everything are kind of like saved.
Yes.
In the cloud. Yes. And then so your bosses or whoever want to know what you are talking about or what your chat are is available. So I hope you get what I mean.
But to the company, it's called the knowledge management.
Yeah.
So if Yuki will no longer this entity, I will know what Yuki have done in the past, and when it comes to transfer knowledge, it's much easier if you have put it in a very nice manner.
Is it like if I find it's like a spying, spying like that.
Okay, then this question I ask: when you do the work related to the company, who's the owner of this data?
My boss,
This is the company.
Yeah, it's true lah. But I mean, of course, I didn't do anything bad for the company. It's just that a lot of people might feel that this is like it's like a privacy thing, So it's like a mistrust, that kind of stuff. I do not know how the company will feel, but a lot of employee will feel that it's a mistrust on your own employee. Like you don't trust your employee. But of course, in the point of a company, there is still need kind of like something that you must keep. The company have to keep to keep themselves. It is not because the company don't trust you. It's just that because I used to be a car exporter. I work for this company. I know the buyer. I know the seller. And then after a few years, you'll see that the sales is out. They came out and they will know who to buy from, and who to sell to. So it becomes like then the company lost one salesperson who actually know where the source is and know who to sell to. It's actually that is why some of the company they have buyer, just buyer, and they have seller, just seller. So that is why certain company need to keep their own barriers as well.
During this COVID lockdown, working from home,
Do the home office have the proper equipment?
Yeah.
Then number 3 is how do you manage relationships between your husband, your child, and yourself?
Yeah, for me, I'm okay because I'm single. And also Singapore, if you're talking about Singapore houses, the old HDB is fine. The new HDB is very small you know, I have a friend who is actually staying at the new HDB. The wife is also working from home. He himself is working from home, so he has to go to the living room and his wife is in the dining table, that kind of stuff. So they are trying to make shape and everything, and the kids is like running around, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
When we identify those are the challenges that the employee are going to face, these are called the stresses. So before even going to circuit breaker, we are quick to implement the online course. Because online courses on one. The first course we implemented was how to manage your relationship for your husband and your children at home.
How?
It means the thing is you understand the needs of your children, understand your husband, and how you want to mitigate. Because the first thing is you are putting everyone in the same house at the same time for a long period of time. So we need to equate the skills. So surprisingly when we did that, and also we have moved our exercises on a monthly basis, weekly basis into online exercise. Even for we increase the number of engagement, employee engagement from a quarterly we improved it to the monthly.
Okay.
On that, and we give them Grab vouchers for them to eat with us, and keep them engaged. So we are equipping them all these things. So there is a lot of work from home facilitation happening during the circuit breaker.
Okay.
So after we have done it, quite well, so far nobody has resigned, but many months later the government introduced mental well-being is key for working from home. Because if you don't equip people will get burnout. And the thing is, when we work, we don't have our children, we don't have our husbands, or our wife beside us.
Yeah, true.
Now we have our children, they'll ask mommy, daddy can have this, or your husband and wife, sleep time, I'm hungry, lunchtime, you know. So we
Pay yourself lah.
can't do that. So that is the for HR we foresee this will happen, equip and skills quickly, and quickly set up the office for the home. You know, you need tables, you need chairs, so you need to put some money aside for the guy.
Interesting, yeah.
So
this new era, I feel that this is a new era of this 2020. After this 2020, we are coming into a new era, and then we will come back later again. We go for a break, and then the next session we will talk about the next era in 2020. Forward 2020, what is the HR going to do for us? See you later.
Thank you.